What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys. Well, I want to talk about DEC real quick. Obviously, we've had a nice spike in price for SPS, which has seemed to level out at the 2.3, 2.4 cent range, while Bitcoin has just been ranging around the 30K mark. So DEC, we are staying kind of around that 800 splintosh. You can see we're at 791 right now. And the question becomes, well, we talk about the health of DEC and how many tokens there are, but it's just like, why isn't it at peg yet? And what is it going to take for us to get to peg? So I want to just give maybe a little bit of a sobering look if we just look at the real numbers here. If you see, we are at about 4.7, just under 4.7 million DEC in circulation. Again, this has removed the null wallet, but if we go here to the rich list, so 4.7 million, 4.7 billion DEC, and you will see that we have, okay, so this null wallet has been removed from that, and the SPS DAO is closing in on about 20 million, right? It's 18.8 million. Again, it's significant, but in the grand scheme of things, like 18 million out of 4.7 billion is not very much. Now, hopefully, if DEC continues to stay in this range, we have seen a lot of pack sales pick up. I mean, whatever 18.8 million divided by 5,000 is, that's how many, just in the last week and a half, how many Riftwatcher packs have been sold, which is a good sign, right? We're seeing active movement out. People are getting that discount through DEC. But when we look at the other aspects here, so before we dive into the rest of the rich list, 4.7 billion, right? We're just that 20 million is somewhat negligible until it starts to reach maybe not 9 figures, I suppose, right? So 100 million, something like that. So I just want to take a quick look at where we're at from a liquidity pool standpoint, and then we'll jump back to the rich list. And you could see here that if I just sort these by total liquidity and all the DEC, this is all considered on Hive Engine. I'll show you where that goes in a second. But the top two here are 538 million DEC. That's for DEC SPS. And then the Swamp.Hive and DEC has about 166 million. So again, just rounding, this is like roughly, it's more than 700 million DEC. I suppose if you add up all these little ones, right, 13 million, 7 million, 4 million, we'll just say 800 million, right? 7 to 800 million, somewhere in that range. So once again, that takes us back to the 4.7 billion, and let's say we remove 700 million, let's say with the Riftwatcher DAO as well. Let's actually take that down to a full 800. We'll take it down 800 million. So now we're sitting at 3.9 billion DEC. Well, here you can see SL Hive. This is what includes the liquidity pools, right? So there's a total of almost 2.1 billion on there. So about a third of that is sitting in liquidity pools. The rest is just kind of free and on the open markets. Then you have 475 and another 306 for the Terra Block bridges, which again, those aren't necessarily like closed off, right? It's not like just because it's on the bridge doesn't mean that, it can't come back into circulation. But if we just, for all intents and purposes, remove them, right? This is roughly we'll just say another 800 million, right? 475 plus 306. So we're taking that now from 3.9 billion down to 3 billion. And then, there's some held by the team. There's about 100 million here, SL Market, 88 million SL Cold. So, maybe we're down to 3 billion, right? 2.9 billion, somewhere in that range. And then we start to get into what look like individual accounts, right? And these are all in the eight figure range, low 8-figure range, like 18 million and below. So if you're following the math, we subtracted a bunch of stuff. We're sitting at about roughly 3 billion. Now, if all 3 billion of those tokens were taken for land, right? We would be at only 40% of land utilization, right? Because land is supposed to take 7.5 billion. And so 3 billion out of that means that we're using only 40% of land. So here is the magic question. And I'm sorry to get all Papa Bear on you, but for all of the rhetoric around, hey, land utilization is not going to be very high at the beginning, if we already have enough DEC for 40% land utilization when so many whales are talking about the fact that they're only going to use 5 to 10% of their land, and we don't have a time frame for land 1.5, let alone a time frame for land surfing, right? So that a lot of people are probably going to respond with land surfing, but that's a concept now. That's not even like guaranteed to be in the game in the form that it's been told to us. I would say there is somewhat of I don't want to call it a risk, but there is somewhat of a non-zero chance that land doesn't actually move the needle on the flywheel. And again, I'm just talking raw numbers here. Now, my personal belief, and again, this is not financial advice, and I'm not trying to make any predictions here. My personal belief is that land will move the needle, but this has somewhat tempered my expectations because there is enough DEC out there, right? Enough DEC to cover 40% of land utilization if you don't touch the bridges, if you don't touch what's in the LPs. And keep in mind, some people might be holding their DEC in LPs waiting for land to come around, which means that $700 million that we said it was not going to be included, it could be included, and all of a sudden we're at higher than 40% utilization. So, the big thing to watch here is, well, how much is going to get eaten up by the Dow over time? And like I said, I do think that land will still be a significant catalyst because I think there'll be a lot of speculators that come in, buy DEC, and then probably try to flip it, right? I mean, it's like a 25% gain right now if you buy it here and then flip it or sell it once you get back to peg. And the fact that we saw DEC almost reach peg during land 1.0 makes me believe that we're going to see a significant movement here. But like I said, I think this is going to be more emotionally driven rather than by the numbers, because if you look at by the numbers, there's 3 billion DEC. There's 3 billion DEC that don't have anywhere else to go. Now, granted, we are burning about a million to 2 million every day. Granted, the numbers are a little messed up right now. 2.65 over the last 24 hours. The numbers are a little messed up right now because we had end of season yesterday. So you can see that this actually went up 0.47 or 500,000 on the 3-day. But on the whole, if you just look at like the 15-day, for example, we're burning a little bit over 1 million per day. And that, again, includes the 15 million per month that we're adding inflation to the leaderboards, which I hope gets cut off as well. So we will see this decrease over time, and considering we're in mid-July right now, and if we assume that there's at least another month, maybe a month and a half, maybe potentially even more than that, right? But we'll just say 45 to 60 days. That's another 45 to 60 million. I mean, that only gets us down to like 4.65 million. It's not, it's not significant in that sense. Now, what could get significant is Riftwatcher packs. But again, that could only be driven by a proposal to start burning packs, or if for whatever reason, DEC starts to drop even lower than where it is right now, and people start to look at that discount and say, well, sign me up. Let me go and grab some more. So I want to get your thoughts on this. I'll leave the video at that, but I want to get your thoughts. 3 billion DEC is 40% utilization of land. I know many people are saving up already, but where do you think that lands? And I know I'm being very conservative right now, because obviously there's still going to be some DEC liquidity needed throughout the rest of the game, right? And then we're going to need DEC not just for the land staking, but also probably for the LPs that will come with grain. So I know there's going to be more than what I'm just talking about right now, and obviously a lot of DEC is just going to get burned with transactions over time. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of the numbers that I presented? And we'll continue the conversation there. But that is all I have for you. Have an amazing rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the next video and see you around the game. Take care.